By and by, oh, when the morning comes, when all the saints all come together at home, we will tell the story how we overcome.
I am Ada Hopkins. I was born October 16, 1929, Lower Richland County, Kingville, South Carolina. My parents' names are John and Bessie Hardy Young.
And did you have any brothers and sisters?
I have 2 brothers, 4 sisters. My oldest brother's name is Willie. Oldest sister name is Ethel, Earthaline, Vivian, and John Young. My father was a World War I veteran, and he worked on the railroad, Southern Railroad, after he was dismissed from, after he was discharged from the Army. My mother was a housewife, and she ran a farm, a 2-horse farm.
Wow.
That's a wagon with 2 mules. Mm-hmm. And she planted cotton, she planted peanuts, potatoes, and corn. And it's just so amazing that we were little children when she farmed at first. And when we got big enough to go to the field with her, my father would tell her in the beginning, don't put my children out there in that sun. That's why I'm working on the railroad to take care of them.
Wow.
So she hired people to work for her. And back there, everybody helped each other. Mm-hmm. When they planted cotton, if I finished my cotton field first, then I'd go and help someone else. When they finished, they'd come and help me. Right. Not me, my mother. Living back there was interesting, but it didn't bother me because I thought I was a rich little girl because Daddy worked on the railroad. He bought our clothes from the Sands and Company store. So we were considered, it's kind of like up to do. We had a car and everything. I learned how to drive at 13. My brother learned at 11. I didn't get a license now, but I could drive.
Okay, I'm going to ask you about your parents' home, and what did it look like from what you remember when you were a child?
My parents' home?
Your parents' home.
The first house we lived in was a 6-room board house. Then when my father bought the land that he built the house on for us after we got up a size, I think I was 10 years old when we moved. We moved to a 3-bedroom, living room, dining room, and a kitchen. And off from the kitchen, we had a smokehouse. They call it a smokehouse because when they butcher their hogs, they put that food out there. My dad was working on the railroad then. We had, old man Branham built the house, and the house had 1 chimney and a flue for the kitchen. And 4 of the rooms had fireplaces in them. From that board dwelling house. That house was located back up on that hill, and it was torn down from where I showed you yesterday. And we used oak wood at the time. Then these heaters came about, and you could get coal. You could go and buy coal from the coal yard, and that was some good fire. And I think, I'm telling you, I had a good life coming up with my parents. Sometimes I think about it, sit down and tell the children about it. And they said, well, Mom, y'all had to pick up chips to make the fire burn. I said, yeah, we had chips. I said, but when coals came out, that was the best thing. Because you had to buy those from the coal yard, but you still had good heat in your house. And that's what I like.
Okay, so as far as you know, your parents actually owned the
16 acres. My father had it built by Mr. Branham, and we didn't have a bathroom in that house. Mm-hmm. Later, we didn't have lights then. But later we got lights and we got a bathroom, because we had to use outdoor pivot at first. And now, our house was like here in Harold Hill, house was in the back. But that, I'll never forget that. They had to put that thing up there and put water in the barrel, and they had the string for us to pull. Open it up and get under there and take a bath or shower or
Okay,
whatever.
and then you
want.
said this was
That's
Reverend Taylor.
Taylor.
Okay. Do you remember when it was you got the indoor plumbing for your bathroom?
I had started going to Book of Washington, and it must have been in the early, because I graduated in '49, and we had facility then that had the toilet. So I said probably I thought it should have been, somebody said the 50s, but I think it was in the early 40s or late 40s.
Well, do you remember when you were attending the Stony Hills School, how many months did you attend school? It wasn't
It
like
wasn't
9
long.
months.
It wasn't long term. I can't remember how. It's been so long. You know, I'm an old lady now.
Yeah.
Come to think of it,
Because I know around here it was usually
it wasn't-
after cotton picking time.
Yeah,
Like
and
November was when they might
when they
have
lay
started.
by, they would
Yeah.
open up school.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, okay.
And lay by means when they would gather all the cotton and got everything into the warehouse and the barns and pick all the peanuts and put them on the shed to dry, so we'd have peanuts for the winter. Sweet potatoes would be put in a dirt bank with straw around it.
Just
And you know, during the winter time, you'd go in the potato bank, get these good yellow potatoes out and have all that good potato pie for Christmas and New Year. Then they had something, the farmers had peas then, and they didn't have a thresher. I think they have some kind of machine now. But they would take sticks and beat the peas out of the hull and hold them up in the air so the wind would blow the chafing out of it. Then you'd have your peas, your black-eyed peas that we eat for Christmas, and the red peas we cook for New Year. They didn't have to buy those. They grew them on the farm. My first grade teacher, Mrs. Esther Barnwell, Professor Barnwell's wife, and he was my favorite principal when I went to high school. That's what they call it, high school then, but it wasn't accredited because I could not graduate from Weber. We had to go to Book of Washington.
When you were a teenager, you said that you couldn't complete the requirements for the diploma at Weber, so you had to go to Booker T.
A bunch
Washington
of
to
us.
finish.
Yeah, we finished.
My dad was the same way.
Yeah, they had a little ceremony for us, but it didn't, you know,
Had to have
it
the
didn't
diploma.
count because we had the school was not accredited. I think Bill Dowdy knows me to Bill Dowdy too. That was my classmate, Mr. Dowdy's son. They went to Camden. Some went to Camden, and the rest of us who was going to school went to Booker.
So you went to Benedict College.
Then I went to Benedict, but I had to walk to Benedict. But I'll tell you the fun about it. When I went to Benedict, I slipped off and got married. And my husband had a car. So we weren't going to stay together because that was my senior year that we got married. And somebody saw us coming out the courthouse, and they came to Gadsden and told the wrong story. They said O.J. had married another girl, but it was me. And then my daddy got it, and he said, I got to tell your mama now. So I said, I don't know how I'm going to tell mama that. He said, well, I got to tell her. So we told mama, and she said, just go down there and tell your daddy. Tell your daddy. So daddy got off the train. He had retired. He was still working with the railroad. He got off that train and he said, I know you ain't married my daughter. He said, yes, sir, we married. He said, well, I don't have to work no more. I ain't working no more. I'm working for my chaps and I ain't gonna work no more. And that's when Daddy took his full retirement after I got married.
Tell us about your husband. You mentioned that your last year of college you got married, and tell us about your children. And you were married, now we know, in Columbia.
Yeah.
And what year was that then?
That was 1950.
1950. Okay.
See, I
And
was still
your
in
husband's name and your children?
Oliver James Hopkins Sr., Oliver James Hopkins Jr., and Anthony Hopkins, Anthony Bernhardt. And I had a great career. You see, I worked for Mary when I retired. We worked on what they call it, Title I money.
Okay.
So,
And then I worked in Baltimore County, I worked in Calhoun County, and Orangeburg County, and Weber, but I retired from Orangeburg County.
Oh, okay. I was thinking you retired from Weber. Okay.
I did 4 years of critical needs work at Weber, but I'd already retired then.
Okay.
And Miss Kirkland kept us in work. Boy, I tell you, I worked so after I retired. Then I worked hard after I retired than I did before I retired. Because this Title I program was going around, and we got out there and got to work. I'm working now. Still working. But not in the school system. I work at the daycare. I attended the Mount Olive Baptist Church of Kingville. We had a lot of members in our church. We had a big, it was a wooden building, a large wooden building. It housed about 100 people. And the funniest thing about it, we had Mr. George Wilson Sr. as our superintendent, and he'd make sure you go to Sunday school. He made sure you got to Sunday school on time, because at that time you had to go out there in the woods and rake up pine needles. We didn't call it pine needles then, it was pine straw. Pine straw and the little kookaburras and twigs from the trees in order to catch a fire in the heater to heat the church. That's how I came. Now, down through the years, as things got better, the church improved.
Okay, and this is,
This
the
is-
church is
this
located
is-
in the same place
This
it
is the
today?
church. It's located at, no, the first wooden church burned, and that was the second one. But this is the second church that we bricked up. That church is brick veneer. It's not just all brick. It's brick and wood.
But tell us about some of your memories of your church, like baptism, or
Well,
programs they might have had.
We had programs. We had for Easter. We had to appear on Easter programs where you had to learn your little recitation, and we were fortunate because we had a piano. Miss Lucia Finch, my daddy's first cousin, was the organist, and she loved playing music and having programs. So we had programs for Easter. We had programs for Mother's Day. We had programs for Father's Day, and that big program was Christmas. Everybody liked that because we got so many things from the church. Little fruits, apples, oranges, and pecans, and peanuts. Didn't get any clothes now. But we got something to eat.
Okay, who were the pastors that you remember, and any
I
members who stand out?
Some pastors in the area stand out, but my pastor was Reverend Harry Taylor. My favorite, because he baptized me in that little creek. We had to get dressed in a little dressing house and then go across the road and get down in that muddy water. And I think I drank more water than anybody else down there because I was afraid of the water. And I can remember that vaguely, that my cousin was on the side of the road and she was saying, oh my goodness, she gonna get drowned down there. But I came out and they dressed me in my pretty little white dress, and we went back to the church, and the pastor welcomed us in as new Christians, converted Christians, they call it.
Okay,
And I was 9 years old when I got baptized.
What do you remember about Columbia during that time?
Oh, Columbia has drastically changed. I remember that the market, the farmer's market used to be on 70th Street. And I don't know whether it began on Blossom and went up as far as Taylor Street, but that whole Assembly Street was nothing but farmers market. And when I go through there now, I see everything but Columbia looking like it looked when I first went there in 1920, when I graduated in 1949. It's a difference.
Yeah, I
The
remember.
houses are different. I'm gonna tell you one thing, Book of Washington is gone. But I tell you, I'm happy that they did leave a space there for us to have something about Book of Washington. When Miss Fanny Adams died, I went to a funeral, and the building that they left is really nice. Because I was kind of like upset with them, But after I went in the building that day and saw how nice it was, I said, well, at least Book of Washington is still on the map. And off from Book of Washington, my mother had a niece that used to live in the University Terrace, just a brick all along it. Nothing like that anymore. The whole area is changed. All the stores downtown are gone. Belt, they had, the other Belt out at the mall, but they had Davidson, they had J.B. White's, they had Taps, they had Hawthorne. They're gone. J.C. Penney's, all of them going to the malls. Columbia is more or less, it looked like an entertaining place, because every time I walk down the street up there now, nothing but food and flowers and different things,
Main Street
Yeah.
to shop. Yeah.
But I would say they moved the market so far out, and you could get anything from the farmer's market. I just wonder whether it was Jerby Street that it started, Jerby and Assembly, or whether it was Blossom and Assembly. But I know it went all the way up to Taylor Street.
Jesus steps right in when I need him most. His amazing grace, oh how sweet the sound that save a wretch like me. Oh, I once were lost, oh, but now I'm found. I was blind, but now I see.
Please tell us your full name.
Sarah Lee Shiver Green,
Okay. And what is your date of birth?
January the 1st, 1940.
What were your parents' names?
Peter Shiver and Lucy Atkins Shiver.
And what are the names of your brothers and sisters?
William T. Shiver, the T for Thomas. Lucy Bell Shiver, Hall. Peter David Shiver, Ruth Shiver, Joseph Shiver, and Gertrude Shiver.
Okay. And where do you fit in?
I'm the oldest.
Okay. And what was your husband's name?
John Green.
Okay. And what are your children's names?
Cynthia Elaine Green, John Christopher Green, Sheila Delana Green. My daddy was a farmer. My mom was just housewife.
Okay. And what type of farming did he do?
We had cotton and corn, peas, wheat, oats, and then they did garden.
Okay. Did you have any chores that you had to do?
Yes, that all I did was chores.
Okay, so what were some of the chores that you did?
I had to work on the farm. Get up early in the morning and help feed the hogs and get the cows out and tended the chickens. I didn't get much of schooling because I had to stay out from school to take care of the next babies. If my mom had to go out anyway, had to help around the house, do everything, wash, iron. I didn't do too much cooking because I was out help tending their farms and stuff. Me and my brother William.
Okay. And did your family own the land that they farmed on, or?
Yes.
Okay. Do you know about how many acres you farmed?
You know, but we farmed all the way from, I guess it was about 15 acres. It was from all the way on that side of the property, all the way to Pleasant Grove, Church at the cemetery now. There was cotton and corn and wheat and oats, peas. We farmed it all.
Okay, now was there any help on the farm?
Not when I was growing up. And later years, he would get somebody, but he had started working out, he went out to Fort Jackson, started working, and he would get some hands to come help pick cotton and break corn and stuff like that.
Okay. Where did you go to school when you did go to school?
Gadsden Elementary School.
And what high school did you go to?
Hopkins High School.
Okay, and what year did you come out?
58.
Okay. And who was the principal? Do you remember who the principal was at that
Professor
time?
Bob.
Okay. And do you remember, did you have any favorite teachers?
Sarah Millennia.
Okay.
Sarah Millennia.
Okay. So by the time you got to high school, were you going to school daily? Or?
Only time that I went to school a couple of whole weeks, that was when I was in 12th grade.
Okay, great. Okay. So tell us, did you go to church?
Every Sunday. Go to Pleasant Grove one Sunday, Red Hill the next Sunday.
Okay, so tell us about the sanctuaries when you were growing up. Tell us about the churches. What did they look like?
They were just wooden structure when I first started going to Pleasant Grove and Red Hill.
Okay.
And in later years, they brick them in.
Okay. And what type of activities did they have in the churches?
Sunday school and praise and worship service, but they didn't call it praise and worship, then it just was devotional service. And during that time, the deacons only did the devotional service. And later years, and on the fifth Sunday, by five churches would gather together. They called it a reunion. You go from church to church, and that was fun. And we would have different services in the church. In high school, I started working at Dixie Laundry, and fold shirts. I worked there for off and on for 11 years. During the time when I had my children, I worked there. And one afternoon, my children began to start to school. And when I was making some nights, maybe $40 a week or something like that. And I had two children there at the beginning. I had two, and one afternoon You know, I had all three of them while I was working at the laundry. But it was, work a while and then had the children and then go back. I said I need to do something, get some mess so I could have some money for my children and stuff to go to school or something. So I went down to, got on the bus and went down to Olympia, and they had a textile mill there. And I went and talked to the guy that was there, and he told me to come back 8 o'clock that next morning and take the test. So I went back down there. I didn't tell the people at Dixon Laundry that I was going to no other job because they wasn't paying me nothing, but I was working most 6 days a week. Then coming home and taking care of my children and stuff. And went down there that morning and took the test, and about 9 o'clock I was out in the mill working. And I sent word back to the job I was working, telling them that I was sick, because I didn't miss no days and nothing from work. So they were wondering why I come to check on, just want to know why I was missing the days. So I just mentioned like I was sick, and I worked there that, because I must have went down there Monday. I started working at Tuesday and work on to that Friday. And they gave me my little paycheck, and that was over $100 and some. I didn't go back to the laundry. And so I worked there about 4 years.
And what did you do at?
Weaving, I learned to weave, and I was fill batteries, put the thread in the wheel, turn it over, and then that go and make material, cloth. It was a textile mill. And then they didn't have no insurance, and the children, I needed insurance. So I got an application from the University of South Carolina and filled it out. It's 74, something like that. And they hired me out there. And so, and then I took a pay cut because the university wasn't paying what the mill was paying. But I had insurance. And then they had the credit union where you could borrow money and stuff. So that was a step up. But I wasn't making as much money. But that was the time I went and cause the little house where we had in, it had it had electric, but no water or nothing like that. So my mom gave me this little place over here to have a house. But I just prayed and think that I needed a decent place for me and my children to stay. So the Lord made a way. I went on and put in for the gym order home. And it was semi-finished. It wasn't all the way finished. But I paid for the house. And I had 15 years to pay for it. But I paid for it in 12. So that's mostly my life story. After then I started traveling, putting my little pennies together. And when anybody said they're going on a trip, I'm on that trip.
Now, where have you traveled?
Oh, I've been Pennsylvania, been to the chocolate factory, and I went to Hawaii, and Cynthia took me to Hawaii with her, and been to Massachusetts. I done been to Philadelphia. I went to Pennsylvania, but we didn't go to Philadelphia in between. It was a city or something in there. But I done been to Philadelphia. I went on a cruise. So they say I'm a road runner. but I done stopped running now. But I love to go to church. I love singing. That's mostly my thing.
You want to sing for us?
I didn't say I was a leader.
There is always somebody talking about me. Really, I don't mind. They try to stop and block my progress most of the time. But the main thing is my name is Pelham Myers Sr.
All right. And so tell me when you were born.
I was born 1936.
1936.
I see someone over trying to figure my age up right now.
And so I'm going to hand you this picture.
Okay.
And so tell me who you see in that picture.
I see most of my sisters and brothers. Now you want the name?
And then I think you see two people in the middle, right?
Oh, mom and father. Mother and father.
All right, tell
Can't
me
forget
them. Tell me their names.
My mother's name was Evelyn Smith Myers. My father's name was Boston Myers Sr.
Okay, and tell me about your brothers and sisters.
Name?
Yes.
Okay, I had 12 brothers. Well, really 13 brothers
Okay.
and 3 sisters. Now, I can't name all of them now. I can name quite a few of them. But I should start with my oldest, the oldest sibling was my sister, Rebecca. I think you know her.
Rebecca Myers Cohen.
Rebecca, and Leroy, Thomas, Lawrence, Pelham, is myself, James, Powell, Boston Jr., Lavinia, we call her Bam.
Bam, yeah.
Yeah. John, Joesph, Samuel, May, Richard, and Little Boss. Those are my siblings.
See anything?
I miss Nathaniel.
Mm-hmm.
Who said that I miss Nathaniel?
I was asking, did you see anything?
I miss Nathaniel
Okay.
and Nathaniel.
So, wow, that's a pretty large family.
Very large. Very large.
And so, tell me about your beautiful bride and when you met her.
We met back in '53.
And what's her name?
Mildred S. Myers. We met in '53 and we started dating in '54, I think it was. And we did it for 7 years. And I finally built up enough nerve to get married. We got married in '59. And we've been together ever since.
Okay, tell me about your children.
I have 2. Yolanda Myers Taylor, who is the owner of Taylor Realty. And my son is Pelham Myers Jr., who is the owner of P&B Promotion. And they all doing fine, and I'm very proud of them.
So, tell me about your community here in the Myers town.
Myerstown got the name when my father bought this, mother and father rather, bought this about 18 acres of land here. And he started giving all of the children a piece of the land. And everybody started building out here, so the name came up, Myerstown. So that's how Myerstown came about. Because everything you see in this area on the side of the road here is Myers.
Okay, so let's go back to talking about your family home. When your parents, when you
were a child, the home they raised you in?
It's amazing. I give you a name. Those many children that we had. We all stayed in one house and had 4 rooms in it. And one of the rooms was the kitchen, the other 3 were bedroom. And I don't know how they did it, but we stayed there. We had room to sleep. We had food to eat. We never went hungry, not one day. And we always had some place to sleep. But it was a 4-bedroom house. In a 4-room house, a kitchen and 3 bedrooms,
And bathroom, was that outdoors?
outdoor bathroom. And I'm the one that had to keep the outdoor bathroom clean.
So tell me a little more about, what you remember, your home life and living. Where was your family home located?
Over there, what's the name of that development they have that over by
Richland,
on Western Road? What's the name of that place they got built those houses?
where Darrell is.
Appleton Place, maybe? I can't
Over before you get to Cabot Creek Road? Oh, okay, so it was over there.
No, on Western Road.
It was on Western Road, but I guess going toward Cabot Creek Road?
Yeah. Yeah.
And was that before you, right where that subdivision is now?
Wherever the subdivision is now.
Oh, okay. Cause they're building.
That's the land we
big
used to
houses.
farm.
Oh, okay.
We used to farm all that land with that subdivision there. Because our house was right there in the middle of that.
Wow.
And we had 2 mules. And we had to walk all that land behind my plow. And again, we were sharecropping. And when you sharecrop, that's half what you make go to the owner of the house.
Okay.
So if we going out in the field and pick cotton, every bale we make, we get a bale, and the landlord get a bale. Every load of corn we make, we get a load, and he gets a load. So that particular land we farm, and that's how my father finally made enough extra money to buy this land over here. Of course, when he bought this land was $25 an acre.
Wow.
So, with $25 being doing back in that time, it's a lot of money. Yeah, you could buy a brand new car for something like $3,000. So $25 is a lot of money especially for us having that size family. But he did it, and when he bought the land over here, he finally said, "Well, I'm gonna move," and he built a house. The house is still there now. He built that house, and we moved me there, and that's how we ended up over here.
So about what age were you when you moved from there to here?
I was about 18.
Okay. So your school years you spent over on Western Road.
Mm-hmm.
So how did you get from there to school?
Walk. From our house to Western School, it was about 3¼ miles. And we had to walk from our house to school every morning and back every afternoon. And matter of fact, I drove around that last week. I just drove. I said, let me see how far that distance really is from that spot to our house where we used to live. And it was 3¼ miles. And we had to walk that distance every day. Come home, get in the field and go to work. And the amazing thing about it, you know, when back in that time, you know, the white people they had buses. We didn't have transportation. So they would come by and yell at us and call us all kind of names, spit at us and do some of everything. Nothing we could do about it. And the first transportation we got to go to Western School was on the back of a flatbed truck. The state decided to pay a person to take us to school, but we had to go in the back of a truck, like cows. And we did that for about 2 years. Then after that, they gave us a little bus that they done used for I don't know how long. And the same person who was taking us in his truck, then he started driving the school bus. And he did that until, I don't know, till I got to, I guess I was in 10th grade before I really got a chance to ride on the rail bus.
Wow.
But we walked there every morning and back every afternoon. Rain, sleet, or snow, what it is, we had to walk. We had 3 teachers. One taught reading, one taught writing, and one taught arithmetic. And we would go from one room. Once we finished one class, we would go to another room. And just go from room to room until we finished our day.
And then I think you said you had to set up the fire there after you walked.
Oh yeah. we had to build our own fire. But they had to they assigned a certain person each day to build a fire the next day. So if I was assigned to build a fire tomorrow, then I would go out in the woods behind the school, me and my group, and we would pick up those sticks and things that would ignite the fire. And we would do that, then we get the fire started. And that's how we got our heat.
We will take a ride down through Hopkins, South Carolina. A little tour. Last call. My name is Joe Richardson, better known as Joesph Richardson. I was born February 9th, 1940, in Richland, South Carolina. Better known now today as Hopkins, South Carolina. Yeah, Richland, better known as, they call it the Sand Hill back across the Highway 378 or 76 Highway. It was known as the Sand Hills. But we got our mail through Richland, South Carolina. It was in the zip code of Richland, South Carolina.
Right, because there was a post office.
There was a post office right there at Richland.
And what did your grandparents do for a living?
They were farmers and gardeners. My grandfather, he plowed the mule and whatnot. And my grandmother, she planted garden, vegetables, and that was a way of life. She grew also with chickens and cows. Had a mule to pull the plow to do the farming.
As most families in the Lower Richland area during that time.
Yes.
What kind of chores did you do as a child growing up on the farm?
Well, really, I wouldn't say be lazy or anything like that, but after I got that guitar, I didn't do much of nothing. But before that,
provided the entertainment.
before that, I used to bring wood in after my cousin. His name was David. He and I were the only two children out in the neighborhood that time. And he was cutting the wood while I take it in the house. I didn't take too much in, but I took some. And Fram on the guitar for my grandfather. He liked to hear me Fram. So he had me to come and sit by him and Fram for him while my other cousin do the work.
Do you remember when you were a teenager, what other teenagers and young adults did to entertain themselves when they were not in school?
Well, I did get a bicycle. I got a bicycle. And I used to ride from down where I live in the Sandhill up to Leesburg Road, where the Jacobs lived up there. And they were like family to me, and we go back and forth to each other's house during the summer times. A little swimming once in a while, a little fishing. That was about the extent of it.
Okay. Where did you go fishing? Just
We go fishing. We're back on you call this road now, the Harmon Road, or up there by Horror Hill, you go down the road.
right.
And there was a pond back down in there. So we used to go down in that pond down and fish off the road.
So how did you leave Hopkins?
Well, I got out of Hopkins. I had a friend, in fact, he's still my friend, Edward Metz. He lived up on Leesburg Road. In fact, during the course of the time we was in school, my last 2 years in school, I used to wake up at the Flamingo Club after school, washing dishes. And people come in to have lunch or dinner. I had my guitar. I played enough of them. They liked it. They 50 cent here, 50 cent there. And that made me feel I was on my way to make a little more change. So I kept practicing. When Eddie left, he graduated out of school 1 year before I did. He graduated in '56. And he left and went to New Jersey. And when he went to New Jersey, he and I, we kept in touch. He said, I'm going to be coming home this summer. That had been May when I was getting out of school, just come home. I said, I'm going back with you. And so we come home. I packed my things up in a box. They had a suitcase. And he had this 53 Buick. He had this pretty car. And we got together and went back to New Jersey. And that's where I thought I was going to get a job at age 17. But in the factory job there, you had to be 18 years old for the insurance to cover you. So I couldn't get a job. So that all laid in my mind, I've given you what you need. Take it. There was house parties going on. People from the South was up there in the North, struggling in factories, not making enough money out to pay the rent and all that. So there was a golden opportunity for me to get started. So once there was a guy that was working on the job with Eddie, said, hey, we're having a party at so-and-so house tonight. Have him to come by and play something. He can make some money. So I went. I started playing the blues. People eating fish sandwich and drinking beer. All home folks.
Right.
So I see they had my chair sit in the corner right there. Hold a hat over there. So I had two guys to wash the money for me. One guy was from Charleston, and the other one down in the hometown where my wife lived down in St. Stephen, Pineville area, Eddytown, brother. So they would wash the money for me, collect the money, make sure I got my money. Now that money paid for my food. and it paid for my room. After my buddy, I stayed with him until I was able to get money to get my own room. Now this room, very expensive room. I mean, it cost a lot of money. I had to walk in and back out. But it was $6. Now $6.
Wow.
$6 out the change that I made from playing that night. Of course, sometimes you just make $20 on that night, you know. It's good money back then. So I had enough food, enough money to last me till the next weekend and the next party come around. And they were going from house to house, and it kept me going real good. And then finally I got to play some nightclubs with the trio, which would have been a drummer, organ, and a bass guy. I go and sit in with them sometime, make a few dollars. But that wasn't enough. I want to go further. I always want to travel. So I went over into New York City. And there was this guy there that knew Little Anthony and the Imperials. This thing, you're talking now in 1959. And he said, Little Anthony and the Imperials, they're at the Apollo Theater this week. Why don't you go? So I'm going to set up to you to come up there and audition for them. I said, okay. So he got it set up with Little Anthony and the Imperials manager, road manager at that time. And so I went to the Apollo Theater. And then they had no case to put my guitar in, so I took the guitar. I got there at the Apollo Theater, took me backstage. We went backstage and got Little Anthony and Lucy. I said, this is the guy we've been telling you about. He said, okay. Little Anthony said, okay. Let's take him downstairs in here. So they got all the guys in the group downstairs, and the road manager went downstairs under the Apollo Theater. He said, okay, let us hear you. Say, we're going to sing a song and see if you can follow it. Okay. They start singing. I'd heard the song many times on the radio, so it wasn't no problem. They sang, and I played it. And they look at each other and smile and say, we want you. History. At that time, there was, after they leaving out the Apollo Theater that week, said, we're going on a 29-day tour through the South. And that tour was, the name of that tour was Dick Clark, Caravan of Stars. On that you had Laverne Baker, Ruth Brown, Lloyd Price, a whole bunch of names on that 1959. And so it brought me right back through my hometown of Township Auditorium. I was there. From there we went on into all the southern areas, Atlanta, on out through Texas and that side, Tennessee and Indiana, Chicago. It was just an experience. I was 17, just turned 17, 17, a little better, 18. They were teenagers. And from there on that tour, there were many people wanting me to come to play with them. And so they got around it. Next were the Isley Brothers. After the Isleys were the Coasters. From the Coasters, King Curtis. And another guy was Jimmy Jones, had that handyman and good timing. And then finally ended with the Shirelles. And that's with the Shirelles, that's when we start traveling abroad. France, England, Germany, Bermuda, Nassau, Jamaica, Canada, Hawaii. And all the universities of South Carolina, we did all those.
So you travel the world.